Yo, what's up everybody? It's One Techly back again with a deep dive into something that's totally changing how we think about the internet, peer-to-peer technology, or P2P. You've probably heard of it, maybe even used it without realizing it. We're talking about a fundamental shift from the traditional client-server model, where everything goes through a central authority, to a system where everyone's on a level playing field. No more middleman, just pure direct connection. Sounds kind of utopian, right? Well, it's not that simple. We're talking faster downloads, cheaper transactions, more control over your data, and even whole new ways to connect with each other. So let's break down 7 key ways P2P is already changing the game. All right, let's kick things off with the OG use case for P2P, file sharing. Remember Napster, LimeWire, BitTorrent? These were some of the early pioneers that really brought P2P into the mainstream. The idea is pretty simple. Instead of downloading a file from a single server, you're grabbing bits and pieces from multiple users who already have it. And while you're downloading, you're also uploading those same pieces to other people. It's like a massive distributed network of hard drives all working together. This has a few huge advantages. First, downloads are way faster because you're not limited by the bandwidth of a single server. Second, it's super resilient. Even if one user goes offline, the file is still available from other sources. But of course, there's a reason you don't hear about Napster much these days. The biggest challenge with P2P file sharing has always been copyright infringement. Still, the impact of P2P file sharing on the internet can't be overstated. Next up, let's talk about the technology that's become synonymous with P2P, blockchain. This is the backbone of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it's all about decentralization. Instead of relying on banks or other financial institutions to process transactions, blockchain uses a distributed network of computers to verify and record everything. Each block in the chain represents a set of transactions, and once a block is added to the chain, it's virtually impossible to alter. This decentralized approach has some major benefits. First, it eliminates the need for intermediaries, which means lower transaction fees and faster processing times. Second, it's incredibly secure. The distributed nature of the blockchain makes it extremely difficult to hack or manipulate. And third, it's transparent. All transactions are publicly viewable on the blockchain, which promotes accountability and trust. But blockchain isn't without its challenges. One of the biggest criticisms is scalability. Despite these challenges, blockchain technology is rapidly evolving. Ever made a Skype call back in the day? Or used a messaging app that felt super snappy and responsive? Chances are you were experiencing the power of P2P communication. See, traditional phone calls and messaging services often route your data through central servers, but with P2P, you can connect directly with the other person, bypassing those intermediaries altogether. This has some obvious advantages. First, it reduces latency, which is the delay between when you send a message and when the other person receives it. That's why P2P is often used for things like online gaming and video conferencing, where even a small delay can be a big deal. Second, it's more efficient. By distributing the workload across the network, P2P communication can reduce the strain on central servers. But perhaps the most intriguing aspect of P2P communication is its potential for enhanced privacy. When you're connecting directly with another user, there's no central authority collecting your data or listening in on your conversations. One issue is network reliability. Despite these challenges, P2P communication is becoming increasingly popular. Now, let's talk about the future of the Internet Decentralized Applications, or dApps. These are applications that run on blockchain networks, like Ethereum, and they're built on the principles of P2P technology. Instead of relying on central servers, dApps are powered by smart contracts, which are self-executing contracts with the terms of the agreement directly written into code. This means that dApps can operate autonomously without the need for intermediaries or third-party involvement. This has some pretty mind-blowing implications. Imagine a social media platform where you own your data and control how it's used, or a financial system that's transparent, secure, and accessible to everyone. These are just a few examples of what's possible with dApps. One of the most exciting aspects of dApps is their potential to create a more equitable and democratic internet. By removing central points of control, dApps can empower individuals and communities, giving them more control over their digital lives. But dApps are still in their early stages of development, and there are some significant challenges to overcome. One issue is scalability. Despite these challenges, the potential of dApps is undeniable. Ever heard of your computer being a part of a giant supercomputer? Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's the power of distributed computing, and P2P technology plays a key role. The idea is simple. Instead of relying on a single, massive computer to handle complex calculations, you tap into the combined processing power of thousands of individual devices. Think of it like crowdsourcing for computing power. One of the coolest examples of this is volunteer computing. Projects like BOINCE or Berkeley Open Infrastructure for Network Computing allow anyone to donate their spare computing power to help with scientific research. From analyzing protein folding to searching for extraterrestrial life, your computer can contribute to some seriously groundbreaking discoveries. But distributed computing isn't just for science projects. It's also used for things like rendering complex graphics, analyzing large datasets, and even powering cloud computing platforms. By distributing the workload across a network of devices, you can achieve incredible performance and efficiency. As our demand for computing power continues to grow, P2P technology will play an increasingly important role. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room: security and privacy in the world of P2P. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, P2P networks can offer enhanced privacy because there's no central authority collecting your data. Take Tor, for example. This network routes your internet traffic through multiple nodes, making it extremely difficult to track your online activity. It's like a digital invisibility cloak, and it's a vital tool for journalists, activists, and anyone else who needs to protect their identity online. On the other hand, the decentralized nature of P2P networks can also make them vulnerable to certain types of attacks. For example, in a Sybil attack, a malicious user creates multiple fake identities to gain control of a network. And in a man-in-the-middle attack, an attacker intercepts communication between two peers, potentially stealing data or injecting malicious code. By encrypting data at every stage of the process and using consensus mechanisms to verify transactions, we can make P2P networks much more secure. As P2P technology continues to evolve, we can expect to see even more innovative security solutions emerge. All right, we've covered a lot of ground here, but I want to leave you with some concrete examples of how P2P technology is already being used in the real world beyond just file sharing and cryptocurrency. First up, let's talk about content delivery networks, or CDNs. These are the systems that deliver websites, videos, and other online content to your devices. And guess what? Some of the most advanced CDNs are using P2P technology to improve performance and reduce costs. By caching content on users' devices, CDNs can reduce the load on their servers and deliver content faster, especially during peak times. Next, let's look at social networks. We all know the problems with centralized social platforms: data privacy concerns, censorship, and the feeling that we don't really own our data. Well, P2P technology is powering a new wave of decentralized social networks that aim to address these issues. Platforms like Mastodon and Diaspora give users more control over their data and allow them to connect with each other without relying on a central authority. Finally, let's talk about healthcare. Imagine a world where you control your medical records and can securely share them with any doctor or hospital you choose. These are just a few examples of how P2P technology is being used to solve real-world problems. So, there you have it. 7 key ways P2P technology is revolutionizing the digital world. From file sharing to finance, communication, and even healthcare, P2P is changing the way we think about the internet and our place in it. It's not a perfect solution, of course. There are challenges to overcome, from scalability and security to user adoption and regulatory hurdles, but the potential is undeniable. As always, thanks for watching. If you found this deep dive helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more tech breakdowns, and let me know in the comments what other P2P applications you're excited about.